Hi guys, so today we're going to learn about how we can use bind mounts to update our apps real time and speed up our development process. So I'll just show you. So I have my Node.js app right here and it's running right here on port 8000. But let's say I want to take away these exclamation marks from the app. I go ahead and remove them and I save it. And here, if I refresh it, the change got made. Now, if you use Docker, you know that's not typically how it works if you don't have the bind mount available. So let's get started on showing how this works. I'll go ahead and I'll make a new folder. I'll just call this folder demo, and I will copy paste all of my files. I provide these files to you in the Google Drive link alongside this video. Let's go ahead and open a new window and open this folder. So let's see so let's start by building our app so that I can show you what the typical workflow might look like and the typical problems that we encounter. So this is our project structure. We have a server.js file, the main application. We have the package.json, which contains our app dependencies, and the Docker file for building our Docker image. So first, let's build our Docker image. We will use the docker build command shown here. Next, we will run our Docker app. So I already have an app running on port 8000, so I have to use another app. Let's just use 5000 so that I can show you. There it is running. So I'll go on port 5000 instead of 8000. And let's say I want to add big exclamation marks here. You will see they don't show up. In order for them to show up, I literally need to rebuild and rerun my container. So I would need to first stop this container that I just started. So I need to stop, this is my container ID, so docker stop. Then I gotta remove it. Then I got to rebuild. I gotta rebuild my task manager to account for my changes. And then I gotta rerun the container again. So on port 5000, we will run the task manager. And now if we go here, we see our new exclamations. So that's a lot of steps to update our app. Now that's where the bind mounts come in, and I show you what to do, what we did at the beginning of the video. So what is a bind mount? A bind mount allows you to link a directory from your host machine to a directory in your container. This way any changes you make on your host would reflect immediately inside the container. So actually, you might think we may need to do a lot, but we actually just need to use a different docker run command. This command right here. Docker run, but you will see these two volumes. First, we will replace this dummy path I put here with the actual path to my project, and that's a really simple process. You just delete that. I go to my folder that I made, copy as address as text, and just copy that here. and copy that in the right spot of the quotation mark. So in front of the quote, but before this colon. There. Now it'll work. Now you might be wondering, so this maps our localhost directory to the directory in the container, but you might be wondering why we have this second volume here. So the second volume mount is there to ensure that the node modules inside the directory of our container, which contains all my app dependencies, are not overwritten by my host machine directory. So this helps maintain the proper environment for our app. So in bind mounts, the more specific the path, that's the path that'll be kept. And we don't have anything. You don't need Node.js. You don't need to know anything about Node.js to follow this. This is a strict Docker tutorial. So if we don't have any node modules on our local device, but we install them in the container. In our Docker file, we run npm install. So this installs all of when we download Node within our container into we run the npm install to get all our dependencies and modules. So when we connect our localhost folder to the container folder, it'll overwrite all the files, and we don't have any dependency files. So it'll end up getting missing and we'll get an error. So one more thing to note is that in the server.js, in the package.json, I use Nodemon. So what is Nodemon? Now, this makes our development even smoother. This is specific to Node.js. So it's a tool that automatically restarts the Node.js application when a file changes in the directory are detected. So basically, typically, if you're familiar with Node, we do node and then server.js, but here we're doing npm start because we're using Nodemon. You could search up Nodemon. It just refreshes our server when we make edits to our server.js within our container. So that's something I thought I'd make you familiar with before I run the command, that this is an important part of the refreshing aspect, but specific to Node.js, not necessary for all scenarios. So let's go ahead and run our command. We changed our path to the proper path. Be very careful here, guys. You might get an error, so if you do, double check the path. Let's run this command. Oh, first I need to stop actually my previous container because I run on port 5000. So I'll do docker install. And we gotta remove. And now I run this command. Oh wait, I gotta change this from 8000 to 5000. Because one port can't serve two apps. Okay, there it is. If we refresh port 5000, our app is still running because I took it down, then I brought it back up. But now you're going to be able to see that we can make all our changes that we wish. So we remove that, refresh, and there it is. And we can put all of our changes that we desire, and there it is, guys. There it is. We can inspect the changes being made in the console. We can inspect our app more closely using the docker logs command, and then pop in the container ID right there. So it tells that Nodemon is restarting every time if we look more closely into the docker logs. So again, I'll make another change. I only want these numbers, and let's do this side by side. So when we refresh, we got now 4. Before it was 3, so we got more logs. It restarted the server and made our changes and updated it. And that's it. You've successfully set up this Node.js application in Docker with bind mounts and live reloading using Nodemon. This setup allows for efficient development without constantly rebuilding the Docker image. Thank you for watching and happy coding. You can find all the resources in the description or first comment of the video. Please subscribe and have a wonderful day.